Look at this thing. Floppy ears, begging for snacks, sleeps 14 hours a day, completely useless, completely perfect. But here's a question that keeps me up at night. 15,000 years ago, before leashes, before dog beds, before whatever premium organic kibble you're buying, what was life actually like for this guy's ancestors? Because the answer is not what you think. And honestly, it changed how I see my dog completely.
Most people assume ancient dogs were basically wolves, wild, fierce, eating raw meat in the snow. Here's the thing, they weren't wolves, but they also weren't dogs. Not yet. They were something in between, something we don't really have a word for. And scientists have been quietly losing their minds trying to figure out what their life actually looked like. So today, let's figure it out together. Here's what we actually know. Dogs weren't tamed by humans. That's the popular story, but it's probably wrong. The real theory, the one most researchers now lean toward, is that dogs tamed themselves. Let that sit for a second. Somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, scientists still argue about the exact number, a population of wolves started hanging around human camps. Not to hunt us, not because we captured them.
Because of garbage. Yeah, the most loyal creature on Earth chose us because of our trash. Human camps left behind scraps, bones, leftover meat. For a wolf that was slightly less afraid of humans than the others, this was a free meal. Low risk, high reward. So that wolf stuck around, and the next generation was a little less fearful, and the next, and the next. Over thousands of years, the less fearful wolves pulled ahead. They ate more, they survived more, they had more puppies. And slowly, without anyone planning it, they stopped being wolves. This is called self-domestication, and dogs are the only large predator that did it to themselves. Okay. So we know how they got there, but what was daily life actually like? Trial 1. They weren't pets, they were partners. Ancient dogs didn't sit on couches. They worked. Archaeological sites from 14,000 years ago, places like Oberkassel in Germany, show humans and dogs buried together. Same grave, same ceremony. That's not how you bury livestock. That's how you bury family. But here's where it gets interesting. The dog in that grave, researchers found evidence it had been sick for weeks before it died. A serious illness, which means the humans nursed it, fed it when it couldn't hunt, kept it alive not because it was useful, but because they cared. 14,000 years ago. The first documented act of caring for a sick pet in human history.
Trial 2. They had jobs humans literally couldn't do. Ancient dogs weren't companions first. They were tools first. And I mean that with full respect. They could smell things humans couldn't smell, hear things humans couldn't hear, track animals across terrain that would take a human days to read. A hunter with a dog had a massive advantage over a hunter without one. Some researchers believe dogs were the key technology that helped humans spread across every continent. Not fire, not tools, dogs. Think about that. The creature currently stealing your pillow may have been the reason your ancestors survived winter 12,000 years ago.
But their life was genuinely hard. Let's not romanticize this. Life for ancient dogs was brutal. They ate what they could get, which was mostly scraps and bones from the edges of camp. Their teeth show signs of heavy wear. Their skeletons show injuries, healed fractures, bite marks. They weren't protected the way we protect dogs now. But here's the weird thing the research shows. In camps where dogs were buried with humans, those camps showed evidence of stronger social bonds, better organized hunts, and more stable food supplies. The dogs that bonded with humans survived better. The humans that bonded with dogs survived better. It was the first co-evolutionary partnership in history. Two different species choosing each other. Not through planning, but through thousands of
tiny moments of trust. Now, remember at the start, I said this changed how I see my dog. Here's why. Your dog is not a tamed wolf. A tamed wolf is a wolf that tolerates you. Your dog is something different. It's an animal that spent 15,000 years choosing humans. Generation after generation, the ones that were better at reading our faces, responding to our voices, staying near our fires, those survived.
Those had puppies. Your dog doesn't look at you the way other animals do. It looks at you the way something does when it has evolved specifically to understand you. Studies show dogs follow human pointing gestures better than chimpanzees, better than wolves raised by humans, better than almost any other animal on Earth. They learned to read us because they had to, because that was survival.
And now I want you to think about the deeper problem here. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but keep it in mind as we get to the end. Here's what I didn't expect when I researched this. The transition wasn't smooth. There were thousands of years where ancient dogs existed in this uncomfortable middle space. Not quite wolves, not yet dogs. Researchers found evidence of ancient dog populations that went extinct. Early domesticated dogs from Europe were almost completely replaced by a new wave from Asia around 4,000 years ago. Nobody knows exactly why. Maybe they were outcompeted. Maybe climate changed the camps they depended on. Maybe the humans they bonded with simply didn't survive. Here's the hard truth. Every single ancient dog's life depended entirely on the humans around it choosing to keep it. The moment humans moved on, the dog was gone too. That's a terrifying way to live, and they chose it anyway. Okay, the deeper problem, I set it up earlier. Let's see if you figured it out. This video is about ancient dogs. That's the surface. But the deeper thing, it's about what it means to be genuinely loyal. Not loyalty because you're trapped, not loyalty because you have no other choice. Ancient dogs had a choice. Every generation, the ones that ran back to the wild could have run. Some did.
But the ones who stayed because something in that relationship was worth the risk. And that's what makes your dog different from every other animal in your house. Your dog is not staying because it's afraid to leave. It's staying because its entire lineage decided thousands of years before you were born that humans were worth betting on.
Maybe we should try a little harder to deserve it. If this made you look at your dog differently, which I genuinely hope it did, share it with someone whose dog deserves more credit. And if you want to see the deeper story of how animals and humans build trust in ways science can barely explain, that video is right here. See you in the next one.